Waitress helps strangers and doesn't know she's a millionaire. What if one small act of kindness could not only change a life, but spark a wave of transformation that impacts countless others? This is the story of William Grant, a wealthy man who chose to live as a homeless person to truly understand the pain and isolation they endure. He faced biting cold, gnawing hunger, and the indifference of society. But then, on one fateful evening, he walked into a small diner where a waitress named Jasmine, with a warm smile and genuine kindness, reminded him of the meaning of being treated as a human being. She didn't know who he was and expected nothing in return. Yet, that moment sparked a chain of events that would change Jasmine's life forever. A story that proves sometimes the simplest acts of kindness hold the greatest power to make the world a better place. Join us as we uncover this inspiring story and the profound lesson it teaches. William's journey, experiencing homelessness. The biting chill of the night air cut through William Grant's tattered coat as he sat hunched on a city bench, his hands trembling from hunger and exhaustion. Once a man of wealth and influence, he had chosen to step into a life far removed from his reality, a life on the streets. For William, this wasn't a stunt or a fleeting act of charity. It was a mission to truly understand the plight of the homeless, to experience firsthand what it meant to lose everything: comfort, dignity, and the simple acknowledgement of being human. As the days turned into weeks, the reality of his choice weighed heavily on him. He was no longer Mr. Grant, the philanthropist. Instead, he was just another face in the crowd, ignored, invisible, and defined by the dirt on his skin and the desperation in his eyes. For the first time, he felt the cruel sting of being reduced to nothing more than a burden in the eyes of society. Yet, despite the cold and the hunger, it was the absence of connection, of even a kind word, that cut the deepest. The world moved on around him, indifferent and unyielding, leaving William to wonder. Was this how the world truly saw its most vulnerable? The turning point, meeting Jasmine at the diner. With tired steps and a heart heavy with despair, William pushed open the door to a small, dimly lit diner. He didn't expect much, just a temporary escape from the biting cold and perhaps a chance to sit without being shooed away. His tattered appearance and hollow eyes drew a few wary glances, but no one spoke to him. And then, she appeared. Jasmine, a young waitress with an easy smile and warm eyes, approached him without hesitation. Unlike others who had avoided his gaze on the streets, she looked directly at him, her expression devoid of judgment or pity. "Would you like a warm meal?" she asked gently, her voice as comforting as the promise of shelter. Jasmine placed the plate down gently, the aroma of freshly cooked food wafting toward William. "I hope this helps," she said softly, her voice carrying warmth that melted the icy walls of his despair. For a moment, William simply stared at the meal, then at Jasmine. It wasn't just the food. It was the kindness in her eyes, the way she saw him as a person, not a problem to be ignored. For the first time in his journey, someone saw him not as a burden, not as an inconvenience, but as a person. Jasmine's simple act of kindness, her willingness to meet his gaze and treat him with dignity, reminded William of what he had almost forgotten: the power of humanity. The impact of kindness, William's reflection. As William left the diner, the warmth of the meal still lingered within him, but it was the kindness in Jasmine's eyes that stayed with him. Walking through the cold streets, he found himself reflecting deeply on the moment. He realized how rare it had been for someone to offer him more than just food or shelter. In the days spent on the streets, he had been ignored, judged, and dismissed. Yet Jasmine, without knowing who he was or what he had given him something far more precious than a meal. She had given him his humanity back. Her small act of kindness stirred something deep within him, a longing for connection he hadn't felt in years. His wealth and status had once seemed like enough, but now he realized that without compassion, they were hollow trophies of an empty life. William's plan to give back. Returning to the comfort of his real life, William found himself unable to shake the memory of Jasmine's simple yet profound act of kindness. Her gesture had touched him in a way no material success ever could, and he knew he couldn't let it go unacknowledged. Sitting in his spacious office, He thought of the countless lives Jasmine's selfless compassion could inspire if given the chance. It wasn't just about repaying her kindness. It was about amplifying it, ensuring that her spirit of generosity would ripple through the community. William crafted a plan. He wrote a heartfelt letter expressing his gratitude and explaining how her actions had reminded him of the value of human connection. Along with the letter, he included a substantial check to provide financial stability, a scholarship to pursue her dreams, and an offer to help her open her own restaurant, a place where her kindness could create a welcoming haven for others. Jasmine's reaction: a life forever changed. As the representative entered the modest diner, he noticed Jasmine moving gracefully between tables, her warm smile lighting up the room. She greeted him with the same kindness she extended to everyone, unaware of the life-changing message he carried. Handing her the envelope, he watched as she hesitated, her fingers trembling slightly as she opened it. Her eyes scanned the handwritten letter first, the words gradually sinking in. Tears welled up as she read about the profound impact her simple act of kindness had on a man she had seen as just another weary soul in need of help. When she saw the check, the scholarship details, and the opportunity to open her own restaurant, her hands flew to her mouth, her expression a mix of disbelief, gratitude, and overwhelming emotion. She whispered a heartfelt, "Thank you," her voice breaking with emotion. For the first time, she realized that her small, unassuming gesture of kindness had sparked something extraordinary, an opportunity to touch countless lives beyond her own. The enduring power of kindness. This story reveals a timeless truth. Kindness transcends time, space, and circumstances. It has the power to connect people, inspire change, and create ripples far beyond the original act. For William, Jasmine's simple kindness reminded him, and us all, that even the smallest actions can lead to profound change. For Jasmine, the ripple effect of her compassion empowered her to touch even more lives. In a world that often feels disconnected, this story reminds us of what truly matters: treating one another with dignity, compassion, and an open heart. So ask yourself, what small act of kindness can you do today? You never know whose world you might change, or how they might change yours.